than the other ones in any case, because there isn't the hustle and bustle of regular city life. It was built by the Emperor Constantine in the 4th century. In 324, it was consecrated by Pope Sylvester I. It was originally oriented towards the east, because the east, of course, is where the sun rises, and the rising sun has always been a symbol for Christ. The problem is the Emperor Constantine built a very small church around the place where Paul's tomb was. So a very short time later, the following emperors had to build a bigger structure because, of course, pilgrims came flocking in. And that was when the basilica was oriented from the east towards the west, because it simply there was a very big way close to where the basilica was, the Ostiense way. So in order to build this basilica, it basically had to be built another way. And keep this detail in mind, because we will speak about it later on when we go in. So Paul was beheaded between 65 and 67 under the Emperor Nero. And there was a patrician woman named Lucina who took care of his tomb. And because, of course, it immediately became a place where people came to pray on the tomb, and especially because it was the first centuries of Christianity, so people needed to draw a lot of inspiration from someone who had been as passionate and zealous for the gospel, especially in the centuries when there were so many persecutions against Christians. Now, this basilica it's actually been rebuilt many times, because the thing is, especially in 1823, there was a big fire that basically destroyed everything we can see today. So there have been numerous reconstructions, renovations, etc. But this basilica is one of the only papal basilicas where you can still see the original Paleo-Christian structure. And maybe some of you, when you hear Paleo-Christian, you think that sounds a lot like the paleo diet, I don't know. And actually the word is the same, because paleo comes from Greek and it means ancient. So Paleo-Christian is basically an earliest example of the churches that the early Christian church used to build. So this structure especially, which is the external structure called the quadri portico, is specific of Paleo-Christian basilicas, and it was a place where catechumens, which were the people, which was a term used for the people who were not yet baptized. It was the place where they used to be during the Mass, because they could not follow the entire rite of the Mass before baptism, so they usually were here in this kind of courtyard. There was a fountain at the center, because when pilgrims arrived here, they usually washed themselves and prepared in order to go in, which is why we thought that maybe it could be, even symbolically speaking, a good time to take a moment precisely in this quadriportico to split you into small groups and to give you some time to reflect on the way you've arrived here. So I'm sure these have been like really very crammed days. You've been doing so many things. You've been meeting incredible people. And maybe you haven't had a moment of silence to just like understand and to try and answer the first question that God asks Adam in Genesis. Where are you? Like, you know, just to give you a moment to maybe think what some fruits are that you may have received up until this point. If you have any questions that are bothering you, if there are any inspirations that you already think you're taking home with you, anything like that. So you can maybe take a moment to think about it, and then very briefly you can share what you think is your mindset, or also the way you're feeling in this particular moment as you approach this new kind of experience within Rome. So you can share something about this. We will give you maybe 15-20 minutes, so try to give everyone some space to express themselves. And yeah, so we will do this in the quadriportico.